What's going on, Drew? How
Let's,
you doing?
let's go. What's going on? Can you guys hear
You're
me?
looking
Okay,
you're looking
I'm
sexy in that that
no, I'm not. I know I'm in a hotel room in New York City. Got the New York City
hold on.
skyline here.
Are you hold on, are you wearing a shirt on top of another shirt?
Yeah, shirt on shirt. Is that shirt on
Okay.
shirt?
I'm
Is
just
that a shirt? That's shirt on shirt.
I think that's a what they call a faux pas. Is that that's not a proper way you wear those shirts together.
Can
Um
you hear me okay? Because I'm not using my normal
yeah,
mic set and all that. I'm good. All right, let's rock and roll,
yeah,
baby.
we can hear you.
Let's
Yeah.
rock and roll.
You wanna
Oh,
welcome
let's
people?
go.
This is your job?
Welcome everyone to the Few podcast. For those of you that have been following along, we went through a couple iterations. First, we did about 110 episodes of me and Alex just bullshitting on like Upstream and on Twitter Spaces and kind of just like talking shit every day. And then we did about 6 episodes with a big crew, testing that out with this new rebrand, Few podcast. And now we're going kind of doing an in between. It's going to be Alex and I as your every week hosts. And then we're going to bring on a guest in the second half of the show every single week, so that we just like can do our thing, like the 30 minutes of bullshitting that we enjoy, with a little bit more production, thanks to our boy Jason Derulo, and then and then we're gonna bring on a guest, and Alex can tell you a little bit more.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like for all the guys who were on before, like they'll be coming in sporadically when they have things that they want to share or things that they have going on. I think probably Anoop will probably come the most. I love Anoop. He's like our in-house. He knows a little bit about everything. It's
Yes.
like just enough to sound smart. But yeah, no, I think you and I have been doing this for like 2 years, and I think it's I think it's also tough. I'm not really sure how All In really gets it done, where there's like so many people, everyone gets like just a few minutes to talk. I think they must record for like 2-3 hours to get the material that they need.
Yeah. We're a hard 1 hour crew.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's done at 5 o'clock. We are out.
I have a meeting at 5:01.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna do sort of this fun thing for we're still gonna do like the rundown, we're still gonna do all the stuff, but we're gonna try to keep it tighter. We're gonna sort of stay honest on this sort of situation. Also, we're gonna record I'm recording the first 5 minutes. I think I'm streaming it on Twitter, and then I'm gonna take it down, and then we're gonna push just to the Few Pod. If you don't follow the Few Pod on Twitter, you should. I don't know if Twitter's gonna be here next week, but if it is, or it's not even called Twitter anymore. But by the way, we don't have that on the left side.
Let's go.
That Elon Musk conversation was one for the ages. But the best line was, you're one of my really good friends, Jonathan. And then he's like, "My name's Andrew." Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
That was the best. That was the best line. He's like, "I'm only doing this because you're one of my good friends, Jonathan." And he's talking to Andrew Sorkin.
Was he like, "Oops"?
No, he just laughed. He's like, "I don't." He's like, so, it's rough.
Yeah, here's my quick take on that. I think that I will honestly say that I think Elon Musk is the right person to be in charge of X. And here's why. Because it's true. He laughed at the idea that he can be blackmailed by money. He's like, "You're going to blackmail me with money?"
All right, granted, Drew, that's not what blackmail is. There's like not being an advertiser on a website is not blackmail. That's just not what blackmail is.
It is. They're basically saying, "Hey, we will not advertise you. We're going to try to kill your business if you don't adhere to our guidelines for communication." And I'm basically saying, like, I think you need someone who's willing to step up, to stand up against that, to not allow advertisers and businesses to drive the direction of open communication. And what he's trying to do is create an environment and a platform for open communication, differing points of views. And I'm all fucking for that, dude. Like, I want that. I want a place where I can see difference of opinions and people that are, and even if that offends me or if it's different than I agree with, I think it's okay.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with like, I actually have personally been, besides for like some of the spam a little bit. I mean, the spam's gotten really bad. Uh,
Yeah,
I enjoy Twitter. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to get political here, but I honestly think that like the situation in Israel would be very different without Twitter and Elon's Twitter, not just regular Twitter. I think a lot of stuff historically has just been not shown or been maybe you know like hidden. But I think you can talk like that, right? And you could say you could it's funny and he's got whatever if you've got a backup plan. It doesn't seem like he's ready to, because honestly, I would pay a lot more for Twitter. And I think actually a lot of people who are active on Twitter would pay a lot. Like,
Oh,
how many times do you see like, I can't believe this is free? Like,
yeah.
because it's not. It's like $8 now, but it's honestly, I think that to some degree he's going to have to charge more for Twitter. I just don't see a scenario where Twitter actually disappears
No, it's
because
not.
it's so
I think
useful for so many people.
and it's not.
Um,
I think the more that he can build business units, and revenue streams that allow for protecting against the advertisers that have that kind of sway, the better. All right, but let's try sticking with timing.
Okay.
Let's keep.
Yes, let's stick with timing. All right.
Timing.
So
Truth.
we're doing
T.
Truth with AJT. That wasn't a joke last night when we were in a chat together.
By the way, before you even go to the truth,
Yeah.
I think that going forward, and we were talking about this a little bit. I'd like to have like rapid fire, like 15 topics that we hit 2 minutes each, couple 5-minute topics, and then one deep dive.
When have we ever talked for 2 minutes about anything?
We usually are bobbing. So we're usually bobbing and weaving. But all right, let's go. Truth with AJT. Let's rock and roll, baby.
All right. Yeah, no, I think this is going to be maybe when we're doing this weekly, where I don't know. I just talk a little bit about like what we've got going on. A lot of people always are wondering, what's happening. By the way, this is alpha in and of itself. I don't know if you saw this, Drew. This is new.
I like it.
It's like elevated. It feels really nice. I'm actually not supposed to show this. If Gray or anyone on the team is watching, they're gonna really be mad. Okay. So in terms of stuff going on right now, if anyone is in the community and has been active, you have been probably coming to Friday. So the thing in the community, in the Truth community, in Goblin Town, Illuminati, etc., is that every Friday we have a DAO call, and typically the first 10 to 15 minutes, like we'll record it, and then the rest will be like off the record. And for this since the summer, we've been just asking the community to not share what we have coming. And the main reason being is I really hate when people make announcements of an announcement. And the way I have sort of evolved my thinking in terms of communities, specifically NFT communities, is and this actually came from what happened with Only Up, the video game, is obviously there's a lot of people who like games that are in our community, but Only Up took off because the people in our community went and told other people to play, right? I look at the community now as like ambassadors, and not as consumers, really. I look at them as ambassadors. And I think that is really key. And actually, funny, Lucas here, I think he also sees that as well, because he's basically taken the IP and brand and turned everyone into an ambassador, right? You look at the holiday sales, everyone's like, oh, only you Web3 people are buying Pudgy Penguins. No, like they were beating out like real things, like real actual brands in terms of sales. So I think that is the IP play, is like take your community and turn them into ambassadors. So anyway, we have some stuff coming. It's coming in January. And if you want to know more about it, we talk about it every Friday, usually at 2, 3, or 4 o'clock, depending on the week. This week it's at 4 o'clock. And so if you have a DAO token, you can come and listen. And we talk about what's coming. And so I know that's not a great like alpha moment here, besides showing you merch that's not publicly available yet. But I think we're really excited. And the stuff that we have coming and the stuff that we're focused on is particularly around like, how do you take an IP brand, try to go mainstream and bring along your community with you. And I think that's the biggest thing. And that's where we only have a minute left of this topic, but that's where the sort of the focus has been, is like, okay, you take brands like Doodles. Like Doodles could be,
Like in
you
terms of
know,
like really quickly, so like with where Pudgy's has so far focused a little bit more on the consumer products and like their distribution outlets. And these are things that, you know, obviously we'll talk about later. You know, where would you say that you guys are trying to lean in and leverage your, like, where are you, like his expertise was mostly prior to this
yeah.
consumer products. Like where are you guys trying to like lean into and make your thing?
Yeah. So for us, the IP that we've created,
Yep.
it's entertainment. So it's games, it's stories, it's content,
Yep.
and it's also software. So there's
Hmm.
a faction of the team that builds. Like we're just software engineers and builders.
Hmm.
So it's, we talk about like the things that inspire us, that being like Lucasfilms and things like that. Lucasfilms was pretty like I don't want to say revolutionary, but they were like the technology that they used obviously wasn't like software technology, and it wasn't like software as a service or anything like that, but they were like really ahead of their time in terms of software and technology as an entertainment company. And so the way that sort of we see it is the um, the entertainment stuff that we want to build and the things we want to do um, is going to sort of tie back to like the ownership of the NFTs. And there's a lot more there, and obviously, like I'm sort of talking around, around the thing, but I'm I'm excited. I think like second week of January, people are going to be like, "Holy shit! I didn't realize you guys were doing this much stuff."
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'm excited
All
for
right,
that.
let's talk. One thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was really interesting, because like I've been waiting for this for a while. So I'm a big Floaty guy. I don't know if anyone here is on the Flow, like is operating on the Flow blockchain. A lot of Top Shot people, etc. I've been super active on Top Shot again. I'm on a long journey right now to complete Series One's base set, which has 275 moments. So I've been trying to complete that. That's been my recent project. But other than that, like I completed the rookie set with the Wembys and the Chets. So I've been super active, but Floaty just released this new fleet. So most of the big sales that are happening right now on Flow blockchain actually happen not on NBA Top Shot. They're happening on Floaty. Floaty has like a bunch of different features, like lower fees and different types of offering. And you could use Flow token, you could use USD, you could use all different things. You could use your Dapper balance. It integrates with Dapper. So Floaty has been like where all the big purchases have gone down. So anyway, they just introduced a new feature that I thought was really cool, which is like the first bulk listing feature for any of the Top Shot moments. Like, and what's really awesome about it is like
Hey,
they did it the right way. They did it where it
okay.
bulk lists, but it bulk lists to the fair market value. So they have a really interesting fair market value calculation. So it's not like you're bulk listing and then like the hard part about bulk listing has always been like, well, if I want to do bulk listing, but not everything's the same price. So then you're not really bulk listing if you're doing everything individually. Bulk listing with fair market valuation is, I think, a gangster, massive feature. So like I'm really excited to jump in there. I mean, I have a bunch of moments. Like I have an outstanding offer on Floaty right now to try to grab a LeBron Cosmic for 20K. I've been like waiting for someone to accept it. The last one just went for 27, so I'm still a little off. But yeah, it's Floaty's been
This is like
hot.
your dream. This is your dream. Your dream is the LeBron Cosmic Olive.
My dream moment. It's my dream NFT. Honestly, I'll say that at this point right now. I think of any
You
NFT.
know, we should have done that instead of bought the Pico top of Moonbirds. That would have been nicer.
I would have been so happy with that. All right,
Yeah,
Degen. Are we doing Degen with Drew right now? Is that what we're going on?
we
Can we,
we can go right
hey,
into
Jackie, can we get like a sound? Like, can I get like a or some shit like for like when we start Degen with Drew?
it.
Like, I need like a good like entrance into Degen with Drew. All right. So I got you there. Let's go. All right. So let's talk about what I've been buying this week. So as you guys know, I'm constantly active. Alex, do you buy anything these days, or what's your deal?
I'm a seller, baby.
I know.
I sold an NFT for 1.5 ETH yesterday. Let's go. And it was a
Good for you.
profit. It was in profit, man.
Good for
Like
you.
good profit.
Okay. So kind of give
Wait,
me
can I
a
tell you
little
what I
bit.
sold? Do you want to know what I sold?
Oh yeah. What'd you
Or
sell?
you're just saying. So you ever hear of Pixel Land Vault? No, Pixel something land. Pixel Land. Pixel?
No, what is?
I don't
I
know.
I don't really know much about it. What is it?
You know what? I didn't know. Apparently, I got everyone on Illuminati on the whitelist like 2 years ago. I swear to
Okay.
God, because someone just
Yep.
hit me up and they're like, "Yo, the floor is going crazy." Apparently, they're dropping a token soon, and everyone's really excited.
Mhm.
And that's my cue of like, I've seen this story play out before. I'm going to sell it now. But yeah, I sold it for. I look back, I got it for 1.27 about 2 years ago. It was like $700, and I sold it for 1.5.
Wow.
Nice, nice
Nice.
amount of money. So
Nice.
I
Great.
am like that. That means we're back, right? Like if
We're
that's
back.
happening, it means we're back.
We're back. All right. So let me tell you some of the stuff I'm buying. Lately, I've been loading up on, and I think this is actually a real interesting one for Goblin Town. So tell the Goblin crew about this one because I think they're going to love this. They literally talk about Goblin Town in the group chat about this one. So, oh, it's not letting me post, Jackie, it's not letting me post links. So I'm going to just drop it with you for some reason. If you can do anything about that. And when I say Jackie, guys, Jackie's our producer. So he's in the background, just making
Shout out
moves, making
Jackie.
shout out Jackie. Jackie's making magic happen. So when we shout out Jackie, it's like that's like our off camera behind the scenes magician.
And by the way, you should also explain that his handle is Jason Derulo.
James, yeah, his handle is Jason
His name
Derulo.
isn't Jason or
So if you see
Jason.
him, yeah, you see him, you'll know. But anyway, so I just started buying these things called Pepimon trading cards. Okay, I think they're fucking awesome. The art is sick. And I don't know if, by the way, another shout out Jackie. If there's any way to like screen share, or Jackie, if you're able to like show us something, like if you could pull up the collection
Does
and
it
show
not
it.
say present?
I don't really know if I want to fuck with it, but if Jackie wants to, or Jackie, you let us know if we. But anyway, the collection's awesome. There's 3,333 NFTs. What it is there's 100 of each edition of each card in the set. And there's 33 cards in Generation One, Series One. The artist is awesome. It's like true Degen. They're like 0.01, true Degen stuff. But he's got a lot of stuff. He's got a really rabid community of people that really love his work. He's a really good artist, and he's got a bunch of stuff coming. So they're doing you burn 2 and you get this holographic like animated version of the first card. So there's a burn coming up sometime in early December. So he's already got that planned. He's got like people building.
What are you going for?
0.01. So I've been trying to complete the set, the 33 of them. I believe I have like 25 so far. And I just think they're awesome. They're just,
that's
yeah,
pretty
dude,
cheap.
I've been sweeping them. I keep sweeping. The floor has been great. It's like I think there's real potential. They're about to do a burn, and then there's also this. I also really like. First of all, and then in the next series they're already announcing artists that are going to participate in set 2. So like the animator from South Park.
How many should someone have? What
I
do you
mean,
think?
I mean, personally, like I would try to. And I'm trying to complete the set because I'm assuming that at some point he's going to reward set holders. But like it's so cheap, you can just buy a bunch also and just sell them. You go flip them on the burn or whatever, or burn some and sell the burn or whatever. It just feels like there's upside potential here. Like if this becomes like
I haven't bought an NFT in so long, Drew. You just made me buy 5 NFTs.
we're back on Few Podcast, baby. Now we got to start buying NFTs again. It's game time.
Damn,
This is
I just bought
the
5.
Good for you. This is the season now, guys, where we start to buy
Wow.
NFTs again. We start degenning again. There's interesting activity happening in token land. There's interesting activity happening in the NFT world. There's the art community is fucking fire. A lot of really interesting stuff. But the set 2, by the way, the South Park animator is going to be doing a couple of the cards in set 2. So he's got some potential, this guy. So anyway, bought a bunch of those. I have about 25 of them. I also bought 7 more Opepins. So I'm now, I got one of ours. So I have to send one to our shared wallet. I got one for us. So I have.
The one where you lost the bet with me?
Yeah,
nice.
Guys. So I still have a chance in my bet with Beanie, but with you, I needed a little more cushion. So, and you did it by 0.01, and then it never really hit that again. But like, it's kind of been.
It went to 0.36. I think 0.37.
I think it was like 0.39 was its.
I've seen that 0.37. So,
anyway, so
any last things? Because we're gonna bring up Luca in a minute.
Yeah, I've been loading up on Opepins. It's my biggest NFT position right now. Anything Jack Butcher, I think, is going to be fire. I think he's rocking.
Have you bought his other stuff? The other recent stuff?
I have about 3 or 4 of his checks. I did not love the circle one. I was just like, it doesn't really resonate.
Trademarks?
Trademarks I liked. I did buy a couple trademarks. I actually flipped a couple trademarks too, but I still have 2 of them. He had another one called Signatures that was like this circle. Wasn't obsessed, but that was really the gist. But anyway, guys, lots of really interesting shit to be degenning into right now. The market's starting to get hot. We didn't even talk today about Solana NFTs, but the Solana NFT market is on fire. Everything's moving. I'm starting to kind of cover it a little bit more. Like I know we've been talking about it in our Warwick DAO, like what's the play here? We got to start to pay attention more. So we're all trying to pay attention a little bit more to the last. So there's a link above Pepimon
The
trading cards.
Pepimon trading cards. The one I just bought 5 of them that I'm gonna have to hide in a few weeks.
Yeah, so I scooped a bunch of the Pepimon traded cards. I have like 25 of them, and then Pepins, I'm up to 40 of them. That's my big position right now. And then a bunch of other stuff from Jack Butcher I've been trying to accumulate because I just think he's really executing well. But anyway, let's bring on our guest. Alex, do you want to do a proper introduction?
Yeah. I'm excited. Luca's here, and we're gonna chat Pudgy. I have really good questions for Luca. I try to come up with like the hot one style questions, and I just had Jackie come up with them because he's really good at questions. But Luca and I feel like, how long have we known each other? Like I want to say, it's probably coming on a year, I think. But welcome, Luca.
Hey, nice to be here, and it's been about a year. Yep.
Luca,
by the way, hold on. Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, that's so funny. You should tell the story.
We go to the place where we always go. So there's a place in Miami Market. Best sushi in Miami is a place called Yasu Tanaka, or at least my favorite place. I don't know if it's the best, but it's up there. And who introduced us? I don't even remember who introduced us, but we randomly were there with Nikki Haley's son. That's a true story.
That's random.
He's a nice kid. He was a really nice kid. We got there and we were just like chatting actually, did he bring him or did he bring you?
It was Michael Gruen who connected us. He said it was on behalf of Nikki Haley's son. I forget his name. And he wanted me to meet him. He wanted you to meet him. And then I think we just met him at the same time.
Yes, that was it. That was the most random thing, but it was fun. And we got to meet. So that was cool. Yeah, man. Wow. Well, thanks for coming on. This is very new for us.
That's good. How have you, really quickly, like, how have you survived the bear market? Like, what was like, listen, it was a very dark period for a year of NFT world. I think, and just in general NFTs, it just was there was such low activity in general, and the enthusiasm really kind of like was squeezed out. How did you guys like? What were you? How was your like? Kind of your approach to it, your team's approach. How did you guys like kind of stay positive on it all?
It was it's all we've known up until this point. So I'm excited to see what a bull market is. I actually talked to a couple of the C-level suite yesterday, Lorenzo and Peter and a couple others, and I've got them on a call and I said, hey, look, we've been yearning for this bull market. We've been waiting for it. It's been a dismal bear market, but we need to be ready to be nimble. And we need to be ready to catch trends, and we need to be ready to be at the top of people's minds, because our game plan as to how we've succeeded these last 20 months will not be the game plan once the hype really starts coming around. Yeah. And I thought about it. We kind of look at it's weird because there's this North Star, this evergreen roadmap that the company has. Then there's also really two companies within that evergreen plan, which is like Web 2 business and Web 3 business. And during the bear market, the Web 2 business has taken precedent for obvious reasons. But now we have to be ready. At $38,000 Bitcoin, I was like, this is the beginning of a bull market. Now, does it go to the moon tomorrow? Probably not. But if I don't start thinking, ahead of our, fun and exciting Web 3 strategies, we'll get caught in a moment where we're going to have to rush things. And that's the place where I don't want to be. So I'm kind of foreshadowing what I think the obvious. And I think the obvious is NFTs are going to come back. Kind of how the cycle goes. It's coins first. And when everyone's like, well, where do I put my coins and all this money that I made? It goes and translates into JPEGs and art and some of these.
It usually starts with art. It usually goes from coins to art because like there are people making money and they want to put it in like quality assets. And then there starts to be a degen phase. Now, do you think the degen phase goes back? Like, the last bull run was powered by PFPs. And I want to also say that I think PFPs were exactly the thing that needed to happen when we were in COVID. People were looking for community. They were looking for social relationships. They were looking to be a part of a club. I don't know if PFPs, particularly PFPs as we knew them in 2021, are the thing that people latch onto like they did last time. Art will always have a market, and it's never going to be as volatile, or it's going to be, they'll be upside and downside and blah blah. But I'm curious, do you think that does the PFP market come back as the way it was? Does it come back into something new, or is something new replace that as the thing everybody catches, that everyone jumps on?
I think the PFP market, and this is just me speaking from a marketing perspective. So I'll tell you, this is where I think I'm strongest. So my marketing mind tells me that there's no better vehicle for proliferation than the PFP. And as long as it is the most easily adoptable asset in NFT and the one that spreads further because of this idea that if I put it as my PFP, I am now an ambassador, and now my entire audience and everybody that engages with me now sees it. I think that network effect is impossible to beat. And I also think just the money that was made on PFPs, there's too many people that are going to spend too much money marketing them for it not to come back, right? Like I think it was, and so for those two reasons, from a marketing only perspective, and then probably adding that social layer, that though I think you're totally right, COVID was that dark and dismal time. I think people are still just lonely. I think that's a human characteristic that I don't think a lot of people give credit for, how many people are truly lonely. I believe for these three reasons that the NFT PFP market will come back and in greater force.
Do you think that when we say PFP market, how do you think it evolves, or does it? Like, is it coming back in the form that it did? So let's say PFPs come back. Great. We now know that there's going to be a brand representation of an NFT community that is like starting to, those are starting to pop again. People are excited about them. What does it mean now? Because like, there's got to be some, like, if I'm thinking back to it right now, there's got to be some skepticism around the roadmaps, the rah-rah. There's just like, there was a lot of mumbo jumbo that happened during that period, which I'm curious, does it play out exactly as it did? Or is it evolved into something that people I'm personally hoping that people want to buy into something that has more meat on it. That's what I'm praying for. And I don't know what that is. Could be a PFP, could be a game, could be a bot, could be whatever. I want people to buy experiences. I want them to invest I want things to go viral because of the user experience and not just the promotional experience. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I have a tweet drafted. I draft all my tweets before I tweet them, and I'll probably post it in a couple days, but it kind of hones into where I think the evolution is going to come. And if you understand Web3 today and NFTs, and specifically PFP culture created this, I think, meta. When you build a business, I think pretty much since the beginning of time, it's like produce equals rewards, right? The sum of your production will yield you a reward. In NFT PFP land, it was yield reward, assume production. I believe, because it's just so obvious, and I think we would just screw ourselves if this isn't changed, and it needs to be a cultural shift. Now, the problem is it's a two-faceted street. Everyone likes to put the onus on founders, and at some point, the onus has to be on the culture that we all have created, founders and consumers.
I agree.
And the shift has to be made of, hey, based on how much you produce, you yield the rewards. And if we can just get into that mindset, I think all of the things that I think plagued our space that gave us this negative connotation that, hurt the space in the long term will be dissipated. And hopefully, we can go on a more typical path of, hey, you produce and you make cool shit, you go. I actually bought a Mad Lad the other day. And the reason why I bought it is I was like, okay, wallet and exchange. And then the floor price went down. And I was like, what's wrong with these people? Floor price going down, and these guys are doing all this cool shit they're producing. So I bought it. And thankfully, 2 weeks later, it turned out to be a good buy, right? The idea, and I'm thankful that the market is I have a lot of gratitude towards the market when things go well for Pudgy Penguins, at least the NFT, because I feel like I work my freaking ass off. And it's
Dude,
at some point, it's like, when are you going to, I hate to say reward, but signal that this type of productivity is a positive and we will support and endorse that. And so I believe, especially the things that you see working as of recently, I believe have been contingent on, hey, we are producing. And so now we and our community members are being rewarded. And if we can make that shift, I think we will be in a great spot.
I feel like you always used to say something. I always used to talk to you about this. And I was always like, Alex, the companies, the projects that are executing at the highest level are never getting the recognition that they deserve. And it's all the people
it just took time. It's one of those things that takes time. And it's interesting. Luca, I said before, I don't know if you were listening in the back, but one of the things that I believe that will change is, instead of being like, holders, I think a lot of the holders are turning into like ambassadors. And I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you did, DGod's like new stuff. And there's this visual like on the board, right, where it had like two circles, and one of them sort of went in, and then the other one went out into these groups, and those went out. And I feel like out of all the founders out there, because everyone's like, okay, how do we go mainstream? How do we go mainstream? How does Doodles become Pixar? How does Suzuki become, the biggest anime, brand? I feel like the Doodles could be Pixar, and my Doodle's not going to be really worth anything. Suzuki might be the next anime company. I don't know that it's going to like trickle down. I feel like you're really the only one so far. I don't think you'll be the last, but I think you're the first that really like took the community on the ride also. And even if it was just started off as like, hey, a few people are getting some licenses, and then we're going to try to expand that. I feel like you were one of the first. So how did you think, was that, obviously it must have been deliberate, but can you walk through that like sort of mindset and that thought process of like community? Because I feel like you guys have the strongest, and every community has like bad apples and people that are nasty or whatever, but like, how have you sort of approached the community and sort of feel like weaponize your community for Pudgy in general?
Yeah, there's a lot of variables that I think are contingent on just the deal, right? The bad actors, the people screaming in the back of the bleachers, they left with the previous guy. And the guys who really believed stayed when I took it over. And when I took it over, I knew it wasn't a democratic process. And I just tried my absolute hardest to do what I felt was going to be the best approach that made the community feel like this was going to be a joint effort and not a singular effort. I mean, the Web3 idea of Web3 building, I don't think is predicated on the technology. I think it's predicated on the environment and the thesis and how you work as a unit, right? And how I think of this is, I can sell NFTs on a blockchain, but I can very much be a Web2 company. At that point, I'm just selling digital products, right? What does it mean to be a Web3 company? And one of the key things that I was optimizing for in the beginning was a majority of the really affluent Pudgy Penguin holders wanted me to buy it and donate it to a DAO. I'm like, look, I don't have enough. I've made a good amount of money in my life, but $2.5 million just to donate it is not the approach that I'm going to take. But the argument of the DAO made sense to me, right? And I'm a huge believer in DAOs. I think they still need a little more fleshing out to be hyper efficient and hyper effective. I think there's like probably a crux here or there that I think, maybe can stagnate productivity. So how can I build this like a DAO without technically making it a DAO was kind of the thought process, because the guys, understanding the game of NFTs is there's an affluent base that you have to make sure is on board with the thesis. People like Vincent Van Doe and Psyop Cop and all of these guys that were really influential in the Pudgy Penguin community. I needed to come in and I needed to think, I am the muscle. I am the person that's going to, create the actions and make shit happen, and I can hustle hard. But the ideation and the creativity and the North Star has to be a joint effort, and we all have to be aligned. The best thing that I think I've done over the last 20 months is align expectations. And why I think that's really important, and I've asked different founders across a majority of blue chip projects, and I said, What was the thing that really went wrong for you? And if you actually take what I'm about to say and apply it to a lot of projects, you'll see that this was a common consensus as to like what really hurt a lot of people. And that was the misalignment of expectations, right? There, whether it was, a secondary collection or a third collection where people thought it would do X, it ended up doing Y. And then people, over speculated. Once people really start getting burned, it's like almost like the house of cards begin to fall.
How much do you think that's the founder's responsibility to control that expectation?
I think, and this was my assessment on it. I think as a founder, you have the ability to control it. Now, there's two ways to approach it. You either really control it or you stay passive on it, right? And staying passive on it lets people go and create a narrative, and you have to control that narrative. It's like a mayor of a town without law. What is your town? It's really an anarchic, a chaotic environment. And so for me, the thing that we pride ourselves most about at Pudgy Penguins, and probably the best thing that I personally did, was whether a Pudgy Penguins at 1 ETH or 7 ETH or 10 ETH or 100 ETH, you know exactly what you're buying, right? There is no confusion. And at some point, I can't control what I can't control. I deliver output. I give you transparency. I show you what I'm doing. It is very clear throughout the Discord and throughout Twitter that I'm being productive and that I am working towards that North Star of creating a brand that tens of millions of people know and love. And so whether the floor price is at 1 or at 10 or at 50, all I can do every day is show up, show out, and work towards that North Star, which is creating a brand that tens of millions of people know and love. If I do nothing for a month, at a minimum, you see our Instagram showing output, millions of views, in some cases, tens of millions of views, Giphy with billions of views, and you see the content pipeline. And so though there might not be a big moment, right? What you have seen is you have seen this North Star that is creating a legacy brand, and you have seen the progress throughout that month and towards getting there. And so you feel comfortable, you feel like there's progress being made. And I think that's what community members want.
Do you think, like, if we were to look at some of the other mainstream, like the most recognizable brands in the world that are in the entertainment space, that are IP focused, let's talk about, like, I guess it's like Star Wars, Marvel, and Marvel is so broad. It's hard to
the number one is Pokemon. Then there's like Hello Kitty.
Okay, so let's think about this for a quick second. What is it that you think is the thing that put them on the map? That I guess is that you look at as like a potential North Star. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, if I think about Star Wars, I think about two things. I think about the movies, and then I think about the action figures. And those are, to me, the things that, I don't know, when I think of Star Wars, that's what I connect to. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, the question really, when you ask me that, is how do you turn this into a franchise? Right? How do you turn this into something that's not just, maybe an internet icon, which I think on our current trajectory, it will become, right? If I keep making more content and gain more awareness and more love and on social, which I think we're doing really well, we will become a piece of internet culture, which is great, but it's not a franchise, right? And a franchise is really where the fandom comes. And it comes down to two things, either long form story through TV series or a movie or a game. And every franchise outside of Hello Kitty was predicated on those two things. Now, Hello Kitty put on a masterclass on lifestyle product distribution. They made thousands of different SKUs and basically just invaded at the perfect time and had the perfect resources to basically make all of these products. It is a super, it's an anomaly like none other. You look at the top 50 IPs, it's the only one that did it like that. Everyone else either had a game that really broke them through or a TV series or a movie. And for us, December 9th will tell you what trajectory we want to go. And I believe you will be able to tell, you will be able to see our future on that date.
December 9th. Wow. Is that our Basel? Is that right after? Right? Oh, yeah.
During.
Ooh,
right.
I like that.
That's exciting.
I like that. Okay. I have some questions. I have 3 amazing questions.
Amazing questions. Wow.
Amazing questions from Jackie, not from me. All right. First is, would you rather have a floor price of 0.01 ETH and 100,000 holders, or a floor price of 10 ETH with 1,000 holders?
10 ETH with 1,000 holders.
I think so too.
No question.
Yeah, I think so too. because then all those people will care very, very much about you. And
because remember, it's the hive mind concept. The hive mind strengthens. I hope people understand what I'm trying to say when I say this. But the hive mind strengthens as price goes up. You begin to get a more, let's just say, without going, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, the hive mind strengthens when price goes up.
I get it. I agree. I think that was, if I was to say there was the hardest thing for Knights of Degen has always been we never had that moment where we hit that price. We've always set expectations and everyone's always been happy and we've always delivered, but we never had that moment where the ETH price was so high that it was worth the level of investment of certain mines. You know what I mean? There's a different level. I completely understand what you're saying.
All right, next question. I feel like I also know the answer to this one. Would you rather burn all the NFTs in your ecosystem to create a top 5 IP brand, or lose the IP being a top 5 IP brand, but become the most popular and top NFT project of all time?
I would lose the IP game and become the top 5 NFT project of all time. Now that's
I really appreciate you answering that way. That's fucking dope. I did not expect you to say that. Go on.
I expected the other way. But actually, if you think about it, if you are the number 1 top NFT project of all time, if the trajectory continues, you're probably bigger, and you believe that, digital collectibles, Web3, etc. You probably are a top 5 IP brand at that point anyway.
Explain yourself.
This may be my Achilles heel, and this may be where I fail, and I know it. But I believe my responsibility starts and stops with the people who believe in me first. And to me, how those people are identified are my NFT holders. And there is an understanding of the maturation of this industry. And I can tell you right now, there's decisions that I made already that are already live that I technically, from a longevity standpoint, should not have done. Right. But because of where this space is, and it's an infancy, and with the taboo and where I think it's going to go, it's either I break the barrier or nobody does, or it takes 5 to 10 years to do. And so my thought process is, if I take care of the group who's taking care of me, everything will shake itself out. And I also believe that if, like you said, Alex, if the NFT hits a certain point and digital collectibles win, which I believe they will do, because I believe the mechanism of digitally collecting is exponentially better than physically collecting, then I will ingrain myself in history in a way that will always make the IP significant, and powerful. And is that the next great franchise? I don't know. But at the end of the day, speaking openly and consciously, if and when I can get a Pudgy Penguin to 100 ETH4, God willing, that opens up a slew of potential opportunities and leverage that I can walk into Disney and say, Disney, you guys have been selling, billions of dollars of toys at 15% margin. It's a bad business. How about this business that's a 98% margin? I can help you here. You help me on where I'm weak, which is maybe long form content, and let's help each other. And I'll have that leverage because I'll have $1 billion market cap at that point, and I'll be able to do deals that might not be able to get done today. And so I think it can work itself out if you succeed in the NFT space.
I'd also add to that. First of all, I think that's a fantastic answer and a great approach, and completely agree. And makes me want to go buy a fucking Pudgy. It was spot on.
I'm never selling my Pudgy. I've got a top 500 rarity.
The thing I would say, we also don't exactly know. Like, there was the time when Star Wars and Marvel and Pokemon and some of these major IPs came up, the world was different. You know what I mean? Digital distribution was different. Media was different. Everyone didn't have their own ability to create their own platform. So, I think there's something to be said for the fact that, we are entering into a new world where the way that the best franchise are created, or the best IP is created, doesn't necessarily have to follow the same path as the ones that prior. And when we look at it from that perspective, to me, that's why I love the answer of saying, I don't want to burn the assets and go after the traditional franchise route. I want to build a Web3 brand first. I believe that's the right approach because I think that we are entering into a world where owning IP is the future. Ownership of IP is the future. Distributed ownership is the future. All the new digital commerce opportunities of the future, and that's what's going to create the iconic brands of the future. I don't know that it's just whatever Warner Brothers says or Disney says is the only answer going forward. I hope it's not. I honestly do. I hope it's not.
I'll tell you this, and I'm an unequivocal believer in this statement. I don't believe that the NFT can fail and the real world business can succeed, because I believe they will take that energy from the failure of the NFT and poison the culture and the community in the Web2 space. One bad review is louder than 1,000 positive ones. I learned that in direct consumer.
Right? Listen, NBA Top Shot is battling what you're saying here. NBA Top Shot's battling it. And I think they're doing a damn fucking good job, but they have to put up with a lot of unhappy people every day because they came in at an unsustainable top. And honestly, it's not Top Shot's fault. It's crazy community members that FOMO'd in at the very top of a market that was completely irrational. But like they're facing that problem.
Yeah,
and
why are you making fun of me? No, I'm joking.
But you didn't even come in at the top. You came in January.
I know.
March. Totally fine.
I'm joking.
The reality is like the people that came in and saw that that only experienced the downward loss of 95% of their investment and never really got any kind of fulfillment or enjoyment out of that experience of owning a collectible. That is a very hard thing to overcome. It is. There's no doubt about it.
It's a tidal wave. And so for us, to answer the question shortly, I optimized for the NFT success above all else. If something is happening, I will rip the entire team off of what they're doing to go and fix a problem if there is one.
Yeah. And something I think about a lot is, because Drew, you mentioned before, every new medium that comes out, a new IP brand is sort of usually born. So you take comic books, action comic books, or, DC and Marvel in the 30s, 40s. You take, the trilogy wasn't really a thing until Star Wars. And you take like young adult novels, wasn't a thing, like for entertainment, wasn't a thing until you take something like Harry Potter or like, multiple books, series. So, and then obviously Game Boy and Pokemon and things like that. So I do believe that NFTs will have at least one, if not a few, brands that come from it, IP brands that sort of spawn from it and are known from like, oh, that was their origin, but like they do everything now, right? Like everyone, like if you do really well on the NFT side, like, and you go and you make a good movie and you make a good TV show and make good merch, and you could do everything. And that's usually what you end up doing. All right. Last question for me on my fun questions is, would you rather, and you could choose one or the other. Like if you do one, you can't do the other. Be the top selling physical toy or the top selling Fortnite skin?
Top selling Fortnite skin.
Yeah, same. They probably make so much. Do they ever release the numbers on that?
The toy business is not a good business. People think that I'm in the toy business. I just want to make it very clear. I am not in the toy business. It is a vertical. It was the lowest hanging fruit. Royalties went to zero. It's where I knew my skill set exceeded. It's what I knew how to do. But to me, just to be clear, I look at the toys as a marketing vehicle, right? My idea is how many homes can I get in so that when everyone's talking about NFTs and crypto, they look over their shoulder on their couch, or their son or their daughter or their niece or their nephew or their friend or their family member has this penguin. And then they have to make the conscious decision that why would I buy some vaporware bullshit when I'm looking at the thing that I should buy? Right. Yeah. I'm not.
So you're basically saying, sorry, I'm saying you're basically saying December 9th, we will know basically whether you're making a TV show or a video game. That's basically it, right? Like entertainment. I mean, those are the options. I mean, unless it's, I guess it could be comic or something. No, it's got to be a video game or a TV show. Honestly, my kids will play or watch both. I got a PS5 recently because we're making a bunch of games of truth, and obviously I wanted to play more video games because that's exactly what I need to do with my time. But
I've
dude,
been playing on Saturdays recently. I stopped for many years.
What do you play? Wait, hold on. What do you play?
I'm playing Hogwarts and Apex Legends right now.
All right. Well, add me on Fortnite. We can go if you play. I've actually been playing a lot of NHL 24. Rangers are amazing.
What systems do you guys use these days? I've just been so out
of PS5. PS5 is great. Go get a PS5.
I have was
first of all, it's like $500. It's like it feels like, what is that, 0.2? 0.25? What is that? That's nothing. 0.25 Go get yourself a PS5. No, but
all right,
yeah, no, I mean,
question for you. So let's actually take a quick second outside of Pudgy. What would you be let's put an investor hat on for a second. What would you be investing on in the space, whether it's NFTs, businesses, tech, asset, infrastructure? Like, where would you be deploying capital right now?
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in the gaming narrative. It just makes sense. I'm a huge believer in some of the artists. I love Sam Pratt and Benny, and all of these guys are trying to get. It's just so expensive. I'm like, I do need to back it up though. At some point, it's going to get way more expensive, and I just support it. But like, let's think from like where I think the most returns are going to come. I think the most returns are going to come from this. Blockchain actually solves a huge AI problem. This AI problem where you don't know what's real, what isn't.
That's my number one thesis for blockchain right now.
Yes, who is really going to crack that code? I think is going to yield exponential upside.
There's a chance that like someone there's a part of me almost feels like it has to happen at the content creation phase, like almost like whoever like the Adobe or the Word or Sheets, like everything that's created and printed and typed and designed needs to happen on chain for provenance and record.
Yeah, I could totally agree. I think the idea of, if you're looking at AI and gaming being two of the biggest theses this next run, which I totally think they are, my biggest win actually last cycle was on render token. And the idea was if metaverse was the narrative, which it was, how hard it is to render all of these assets? It's actually incredibly difficult. So I poured a boatload of money into render token because I thought to myself, well, if everyone's building metaverses, it actually takes thousands of hours for this stuff to render. Nobody has the computing power in their offices to actually render all of this stuff. So you need to outsource it. I think there's a lot of tools along those lines.
Redbeard Ventures recently invested in a decentralized AWS that's built for these types of like lower cost computing and cloud storage. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and then one thing I just hate, and I've heard this, I've asked people like, why haven't you bought a Pudgy Penguin? And there's this narrative of execution risk. And so the one thing that I'm investing in is execution risk, because I think that's the only thing worth investing in. At the end of the day, it's people that are going to push this stuff. It is teams that is going to push this stuff. And so who are the good teams? That's why I bought my Mad Lad the other day. It worked out pretty well, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, these guys just seem like killers. And I saw a story where he lost all his money in FTX. They kept going, and like they lost like 10, almost 10, 15, 18, something along those. It was an absurd amount of money. Those are the people I want to bet on, right? I want to bet on those guys who are pushing through when it doesn't look like they should succeed. And so AI, gaming, the things that power those two, and then people that I just think are beasts.
Yep. Respected.
I love it.
That's awesome. Jack Butcher's my biggest NFT position right now. His assets. I think I've got about 40 something O'Peppins. I got a bunch of the checks and trademarks. I didn't love the Signal one, the Circle one. That one didn't resonate as much with me, but he's executing at the highest level.
By the way,
it's just genius on a piece of graphic design.
Totally.
Yeah. By the way, this whole time I've just been thinking, because like when I bought the PS5, I have two girls. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I want them to play games. Like I want them to be gamers. I want them to like show up.
Me too.
Drew and I have played NBA Jam together, and he actually Jackie, who's in the back. I think I beat Jackie by 60 points in NBA Jam in the arcade. I'm like Woody Harrelson in White Man Can't Jump for NBA Jam.
He rolls up to NBA Jam. I'll take the chump, man. Give me the chump.
Yeah. But No, sorry. The reason I was bringing this up is, we were looking for games. I was looking for games for them, and I got like this terrible Bratz game, which I regretted immediately. And there's this really interesting Disney Enchanted game, but it's a one-player game, so they're fighting for the control.
You're right. You're right. There's not much out there for kids.
There's not great kid platform games. Now, there's a lot of great kid like iPhone games, so maybe that's really it, and that's what they care about. But I realized that I was looking through the store of them, and there's nothing.
There really isn't. I have two boys that they're too young right now to really get into like the full game experience. They're 4 and 2, but like I look around to see if there are any like little kid games. So I want them to be able to play games also. Like it's something I can do with them and share an experience with. But it's tough. They're not there yet. But no doubt. Well, Luke, I appreciate you coming on here, brother. It's been fun to chop it up, buddy. Always a pleasure to hear from you.
I'm here to be on whenever, and both of you are invited to our Miami Art Basel event December 9th. It's a good one, and you shouldn't miss out.
Excited.
Let's go. All right.
Spread the word. You're the man.
Later, guys.
Thanks for coming in. All right, we're going to close this out, right? Or how do we end this?
So what we do. So, okay, so the last few. So, again, we're going to be doing this. I guess we'll do this every Thursday, 4 o'clock right now until if that time works.
I don't know if next week works because we have this little Art Basel thingy for upstream.
We'll figure it out. We'll talk
and maybe next Friday, or we may have to skip next week. But we should have a guest every week. I feel like there's no reason not to.
Yeah, me and you could do our 30 minutes, and then we could bring our 30, 40 minutes and bring on a guest for 20, and it's great. But this was a lot of
it's fun.
This felt good. This felt right.
Good. I feel like home. Like we've done this many times.
We've done this before. All right, so awesome, guys. Just keep your eyes open, guys. There's a lot of shit going on. It's buying season again. NFTs are moving. I don't know if you guys noticed, but what was the DAO? One of the DAOs, actually, I'll tell you right now. I was just looking. Flamingo DAO just put 350 ETH spent 350 ETH on art today. Fucking sweeping, amazing stuff too. Like you're talking like Life in West America, just like really, Genesis by Clay Silver, it's just like a lot of really cool art. So it's definitely art season. Jack Butcher's cleaning up. There's a lot happening, man. It's. I remember when we started the show, it was like everyone was clamoring to figure out how do I make sense of the space, and I think it's about to happen again. So like, join the show.
Yeah, I mean, you made me buy an NFT today. So I haven't bought an NFT in so long.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm on Pudgy Penguins right now, trying to decide if I want to make a move because I had a couple back and I cleaned up, and then I kind of consolidated into like a few little projects that I was like mostly art and Top Shot. And a couple
I love my. He's got a top hat, he's got sunglasses, and he's got a lab coat. Honestly, I should be in the next license agreement. You got a lab coat. You want to teach kids how to be a doctor, but also wear a top hat.
The floor one right now, nice big beard too. It's like calling my name. The floor Pudgy right now has a nice beard.
You're gonna regret if you don't do it.
Right, I think so too. It's got legs to be like the next apes. There's no doubt. There's no reason why it can't be.
And honestly, I just feel like first of all, it was 70 this morning, so it's 7.25. Oh, by the way, that guy looks exactly like you. Or if you look at like 4in, the guy with the comb in the eye patch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but did you see the one with the fro and the beard below that one?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Honestly,
too.
I think both are good.
Yeah,
by the way, I minted I think 5 of them. Before like I minted 5 Pudgy Penguins back in the day.
Yeah, you didn't hold them though, did you?
I held 1. I sold 4 of them on the way up.
Yeah,
this is pre Luca. Like this is in the beginning. I sold it before the New York Times article. That was stupid, but I did. Yeah. But I kept 1 because I was just like, this guy's cute. I'm just gonna keep him forever. And then obviously when Luca took over, I was like, I'm never selling him.
Glorious then.
Yeah.
All right. Catching up, buddy. And then we're gonna do this every week as always, guys. Come back, join the chats, ask questions, bring ideas. We're gonna try to make this a very community-oriented event. Jackie's doing a great job on the production, on the promotion. So we got some things brewing here. We got some things brewing.
Can we say that? Hold on. Can we just show for a second that we? I'm gonna show one last thing, and then we'll go. This was a week or 2 ago.
But by the way, so Jackie's
doing some. Okay, sorry. Follow us.
Follow us on TikTok. on Twitter. What is it? At the Few Pod, if I'm not mistaken.
At the Few Pod, yeah. And then
At
it's
the
like different ways
Oh,
on
you see it on the bottom.
Instagram and on the
Oh,
bottom.
it's
Yeah.
on screen. Like
Yeah.
boom.
Wait, but hold
Follow.
on.
Subscribe.
I just want to show this for a second. This was like a week or two ago. We were what is it?
Number
83?
83 on
And
podcast.
you see who's 84? Rug Radio. 80,
Already
82 was Bloomberg. So we're just either things aren't looking good over at Rug Radio, or we're on a meteoric rise. No, I'm joking.
Meteoric
I'm
rise.
sure. I'm sure everything's fine. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. See ya.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Peace.